All right, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachaha, Kodash. Love honors go out to our apostles, Ezra Great Millstone, who rule and teach well. Shalom Barakim to you brothers and sisters out there. Right, this is the brother Malachi from the Great Millstone Nashville branch. And Lord, willing that this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. All right, I wanted to touch on the topic of how the word of the Lord, not literally the word of the Lord, but the accessibility of the word of the Lord is temporary. Okay, and by that I mean, according to the scriptures, which I'm going to grab it, you're not going to be able to just receive the word openly forever, right? There's going to come a time when the Lord is going to close up shop, which is why we stress the importance of Israelites seeking the Lord now and getting and acquiring this knowledge while you still can. Get it while it's hot, right? Because pretty soon the men of the Lord are going to stop teaching. There ain't going to be no more videos. Ain't going to be no more camp, okay? And shop is going to be closed, man. And judgment's going to be ringing out in the streets. You see? So we gotta get it while we can. We gotta get it while the getting's good. Okay, we don't, and that's not just a message for those that don't have the truth. That's a message for us as well, because even though we have the knowledge of the truth, we need to grow as much as we can and make sure that we're examining ourselves and correcting ourselves as much as we can before hell breaks loose. Okay, so I got this word temporary up here. It says not permanent, lasting for a time only. It says of seasonal character, lasting a short time. So it's not going to be forever. It's only lasting for a time. All right, so let me go ahead and get this, the prophecy, because that's exactly what it is. First of all, let me grab this. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 11. It says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Okay, so the word of the Lord, it's going to get done. Okay, whatever the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, wants to be accomplished and wants to be completed and finished, that's going to take place and it's going to happen. And one of those things is the famine of the word. Okay, there will be, a famine of bread and a famine of water, but the most crucial, hurtful famine is the famine of the word. Right, because this is the water where when you drink of it, you're not going to thirst no more. This is the bread where you're not going to hunger anymore. This is the, Yahweh Shai, ultimately, right? The bread of life. Okay, so let me get this Amos. Amos chapter 8, verse 11. It says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. So pretty soon, you're not going to be able to acquire this knowledge. The servants of the Lord are going to go into hiding because that persecution and judgment is going to be going out. Because what are we prophesying about when the prophecies are taking place? Right? What is it? Why would we be at camp talking about the MOTB when the MOTB is mandatory? Why would we be putting up videos about martial law and persecution when martial law and persecution is taking place? Right? So to prophesy is to say before. So the prophesying is going to be over when these things are in the streets. You see, verse 12. And they here is Israelites that didn't receive the word. Right? And when they realize that, well, those dudes are right, they're going to be looking for that guidance, and it's not going to be there anymore. Okay, it says, and they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. You're not going to find it. It's not going to be accessible anymore. Okay, now, could there be certain cases where an individual receives the word after the fact? Yeah, but the majority they're going to be shut out from this word because they didn't seek the Lord while he may be found. Which actually was in the same chapter we were just in. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 6, it says, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. So that is implying that there will be a time when the Lord's not going to be near anymore. The Yahweh Shemel Shai is still going to be there, of course. The Lord is always there. Okay, but he's not going to have open ears no more. He's not going to be, he's not going to be accepting applications, so to speak. It's going to be closed, okay? It says, let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. So that's another big thing. Understanding that the ways of the Lord are way above ours, we need to take heed and listen, man. He knows best. Okay, so when the Lord's telling us, look, you need to receive this word and this wisdom while you can, before I start bringing judgment out, you need to take heed. All right, it's that simple. Trust the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man. We have fear. Okay, we move with fear and faith. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1. It says, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, which is ultimately talking about seeking the Lord before you get old, when you're not able-bodied no more. But we apply this as well, manyfold, to nowadays, right? Before the evil days come. So you got to seek the Lord before that judgment starts going out in the streets, man. You don't want to get caught up in it. You want your household and yourself to get delivered, right? So why aren't you cleaving on to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai? Scriptures say, make no tarrying. Because we don't know, like it says in James, we don't know what's going to be tomorrow, right? So we can't say, oh, well, I'll serve the Lord next week. Well, you don't know if there will be a next week. You might die tomorrow, or hell might break loose, a Friday. We don't know. That's why we don't make no tarrying, Salaki. That's why we just need to get up and get after it. All right, Sirach 5 and 7, it says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. Okay, so make no tarrying. Let me get the word for tarry. Tarry. It says to delay in acting, procrastinate, retard. All right, to delay. It says excite wrath, provoke. To delay acting, be slow. So you're not supposed to be slow. Okay, you're not supposed to procrastinate. You might have procrastinated growing up with school and all that. You might procrastinate with certain things now even. But don't you dare procrastinate with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right, because the Lord ain't dealing with that lukewarm, fragile, wishy-washy spirit. Okay, so we got to get after it, man. We got to seek the Lord, seek his mercy. Okay? Let me get one more. I'll probably close up. Second Ezra chapter 9, I'm going to start at 7. It says, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment. So people that casted the word behind them because they thought they were too good for it, or they don't want to. I can't do it right now. My career, my family, I got this going on, that going on, or just downright scoffed, wanting no part of it. Well, you're going to be dwelling in these torments, okay, and you're going to be in a pitiful case. It says, for such as in their life have, verse 10, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. All right, so the Lord takes care of us every day, and yet a lot of you people don't regard the Lord. You don't want to take his word seriously. You don't want to apply them to your life. All right, you think that serving God is just straight happy and sunshine and rainbows. No, serving the Most High comes with a lot of temptations and judgment and chastisement, or a lot of sorrow as part of being built up. All right, that's how you know you're truly serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, when you're catching hell. All right, verse 11. And they that have loathed my law, which is hate, while they had yet liberty to do what? Liberty to change, liberty to repent and to turn back to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and put aside that weak nature and put aside their flesh, their lusts and desires, right? Their own belly. And when his yet place of repentance was open unto them, which is right now, right? We're in the cool of the day before the judgment, right? We are still able to seek the Lord because he's still able to be found. Understood not, but despised. So not only do our people not understand what this is all about, they don't care. And they hate it, and they despise it, and they talk shit about the men of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and about the doctrine, about the Lord. All right, which is why, verse 12, the same must know it after death by pain. So one way or another, you're going to understand this truth, whether it's so-called, willingly on this side or through that judgment. Like it says in Isaiah 6, how after, that judgment goes out, that nuclear destruction in the kingdom, all Israel is going to know. Okay, so it's either you seek the Lord now and cleave onto him and put off your flesh, and serve him, or you're just going to have to perish. But at the end of the day, regardless of what you decide to do, we're all going to serve Yahweh B'Shem Shai in the kingdom. So why not do it now? Why not hold yourself accountable and be responsible and serve the Lord and avoid that judgment? Okay? So Lord willing that this lesson was edifying. Before I close, I want to give all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Shai B'Shem Rachak Wadash. The honors go out to the apostles, Elder Grey Millstone. Shalom.